There's so many examples of moments when I'm like, why? Why would you think that AI is useful for this? AI is not your friend. Nothing is better than the human brain.
You're watching The Big Question, the series from Euronews which seeks to answer some of the biggest topics on the business agenda. Well, today we are welcoming Gemma Galdón-Clavell, the CEO of Eticas Tech. Its mission is to protect people and businesses using AI by applying ethical practices. So, a huge topic. Welcome, Gemma. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Gemma. Well, first of all, I just want to bring up something that you said recently. You described AI as a solution looking for a problem. So, first of all, can you just explain to me, Gemma, and explain to our audience what you mean by that exactly?
Well, there's been a tendency in recent years that every time we can do something technical, we do it, and then we ask why later. And that's a really bad way of looking at innovation. Innovation, at its heart, is about solving human problems. If you don't have a problem to solve, then what's the point of coming up with new technical solutions? And I think that we need to go back to thinking of what is my problem and is AI the best way of addressing that problem? Once we do that, I think that the AI around us will improve greatly.
Businesses who want to incorporate AI, they often, I'm sure, don't know where to start with it. It's obviously a huge expense to do so. Before businesses think about and put the money forward to incorporate AI, what should they be thinking about?
About what are the problems that they have, and they need to understand what AI is. And I think we're all struggling with this. There's all these images about robots taking over, then large language models and ChatGPT stealing all of our jobs. So AI is so many things at the same time that it's hard for non-experts to understand what we're dealing with. AI is basically a data process, and AI works with data from the past. So what you need is huge data sets of what's happened in the past that you process through AI algorithms to give you patterns. The best way of describing it, how does a GPS work? A GPS gets data on how people move about in a city, finds that most people, when they go to A to B, move through this particular route, and then when you ask for that, how do I go from A to B? So if your problem can be solved by doing this, yes, you need AI. But if your problem doesn't have a lot of data from the past, if you have a new problem that no one's worked on before, AI is not your friend. It's like understanding what it is that AI does is crucial to making the most of it.
But at what point can a company, I don't know if there are some examples you could give us on how companies could incorporate it to save money?
So if you're a big employer and you get lots of CVs every day, every week, you could use AI to screen through those CVs and make sure that we only use humans to review the ones that are actually a good fit for our job. What happens with this is that oftentimes the AI out there is not good quality AI, and so you end up eliminating really good CVs from your sample. So again, there's a great potential in AI sorting through a lot of information, but unless you have really good AI, you're going to be making really bad decisions.
And something like that you said with for example, the going through CVs, scanning applicants, that's something a lot of companies would find incredibly useful. Is it affordable for small businesses to have the most basic AI packages?
No, but not because it's expensive, or not only because it's expensive, also because right now they don't work well. In our experience, when we audit systems, what we find is that the way that those systems are sorting through CVs is really suboptimal. And so they're leaving out a lot of people that would be really good employees. There's been some instances of audits in the US, for instance, where they found that one of the things that AI picked up was that one of the reasons to employ you was whether you wrote in your CV that you play lacrosse. Lacrosse is a male, posh sport, so playing lacrosse was also a proxy for gender and class. Because what happens when we say that AI sorts through CVs? What AI does is AI takes CVs from people that you have employed in the past, looks for patterns in those CVs, and then sees to find those patterns in the new CVs that are arriving. If you don't control that process, you may end up picking up on indicators that say nothing about your performance as an employee. If we just buy a software package, an AI package, and implement it and trust that things are going to go well, we're going to be making a mistake, and that is really expensive.
So in your view then, do you think that the AI software currently available on the market, has it progressed enough to be reliable enough for a company to just rely on that and not human input for some jobs, do you think?
Right now, I would not advise any company to acquire commercially available AI packages. Decision making is crucial in businesses, so kind of outsourcing that to AI systems that have not been tested. It's like I often say, in the 19th century you could buy cocaine in pharmacies because there was no regulatory agency, there was no one stopping or controlling what ended up in a pharmacy. We're in the same situation right now with AI. There's nothing ensuring that the software, the AI software that companies are buying is good software. So like buying the equivalent of cocaine, like something that is really dangerous and that creates lots of problems.
But what is also the most common misconception about AI among your clients, have you found?
The main misconception is that they hope that AI will make a decision on its own. I think there's this fantasy of human replacement. AI is a great help in going from 1 million to 10. So like you have a lot of data, you need to find patterns, you need to organize something. That AI is fantastic for that. But 10 to 1, nothing is better than the human brain. Our ability to capture, to be creative, to understand from context, to innovate when we don't have past data, that is unparalleled in the human mind. But businesses tend to think, I'll just buy AI and then I'll be able to replace the human. I will not need the human anymore. No, you will still need the human, you will not need the human for the whole process. You can focus the human in the 10 to 1. I think that the worst misconception that we find is this idea that AI will replace humans, and in this case, employees, or that AI will do something from beginning to end. No, AI can help. Sometimes can help greatly, but you still need the human ability to incorporate all the data inputs that AI cannot process.
You don't think there's any human jobs that are at risk at all of being replaced? Because obviously not everyone is of that view.
All the studies that years ago said, so many jobs are going to be lost, have been contested, and even the authors have said with the data that we have right now, we would lead to different conclusions. AI will not replace jobs. So individual people may feel that they are redundant, but not because their jobs disappear. It's because part of the work is done by an AI system.
And do you think there's anything that AI really cannot replicate, replace?
There's so much about what we do and who we are that cannot be replaced by AI. But also think about the new things that happen. Like I often use this example. If we had asked an AI in 1938, here's everything that Picasso has drawn up until now. Tell us what will be Picasso's next painting. It would have looked nothing like the Guernica, which is what he painted. Because the Guernica is the result of a fascist attack on a town in Spain during the Spanish Civil War. AI has no way of knowing this. And that's what's missing in AI. The way that we think and that we feel, that we relate to others is shaped by things around us that are not repetitive, that are not just data points. So all of that AI cannot do, will never do, and no one wants it to do it, really.
And one of the complexities is the ethics, which you have touched on a few times here, but I wonder, could we just elaborate on that for our audience? Because I'd really just like you to explain and highlight the importance of AI and ethics as well, Gemma.
Well, the main thing about AI is that the fuel of AI is personal data. AI would not exist with the data of all of us. And that data, it's not just our name and our address. It's not just like personal data, like traditional personal data. It's information on how we relate to others, how many times we call people, how we fall in love. Like right now, everything we do leaves a trace. Every single app in our phones, in our computers, is gathering data about everything that we do. And so AI has an ethics challenge because everything that it manages comes from how we live our lives. And so the need for AI to handle that information with care, but also when it's using that information on how we think and love and work to make decisions about us, there's also an issue of, is that a fair decision? And we've come across a lot of examples when we've seen that the decisions made by AI are not only inefficient, but also unfair.
Many people have criticised that the world's AI generally is built and controlled by a small group of white men in Silicon Valley. And of course, this doesn't reflect the global population and their attitudes and thought processes. So do you think all current AI shows biases across the board? How profound is the problem, do you think, at the moment from what's already out there?
Right now it's fundamental. Like basically all AI out there makes bad decisions, and makes bad decisions oftentimes based on protected attributes like the fact that we are women or any other kind of characteristic that makes us an outlier. Again, that's a really important notion in AI. As I mentioned before, the issue of patterns. AI always works on patterns. AI identifies patterns in past data and seeks to reproduce that pattern. If at a bank, the past data reflects that your ideal client is a man with a stable job, AI tends to reproduce that. And so on day 1, you will be discriminating against women. On day 10, you will only be giving mortgages to men with stable jobs. So AI works really badly with outliers. The issue is that in society, we may want to protect those outliers. Maybe there's less women seeking banking services. That doesn't make us less desirable as a client. So the issue of bias in AI is a very serious issue that is making a lot of social problems that we already have way worse.
And Gemma, what is the solution to this? Is it more legislation, as you said, more policy? How can companies overcome these ethical challenges that they're facing?
Well, the good news is that we can. Like it's about identifying risks and mitigating for them. We have an amazing technology that can really help us get from 10 million to 10. And we should make the most of that, but we need to do better. We do not want discriminatory AI. We do not want discriminatory AI that leaves women out and people of color out and the poor people out and people that live in poor neighborhoods out, or old people out or young people out. The solution that we put on the table, and that luckily a lot of countries are picking up on, and also the industry, is auditing. AI needs to be audited to provide certainty to those buying those AI systems or using those AI systems, that the AI systems work well. But I think that 5 or 10 years from now, we will look back at now and we will not believe how daring we were, daring in a bad sense, of using AI that was not tested, that was not audited, that was discriminatory. It'll be like the equivalent of getting a vaccine that didn't go through a clinical trial, buying a car without a seatbelt, buying a house without the paperwork, things that right now are like, yeah, 3 centuries ago people did that, but because they didn't know better. I think we're exactly in that same spot, that same moment. We're doing things that 5 years from now we'll be like, oh my God, how did they do that? Well, because we didn't know any better. The good news is that we are getting to know that, we know what we need to do, and I think that we are putting things in place to make sure that change happens.
And Gemma, we've talked there a lot about the dangers, the pitfalls, and the scary things that come with AI. But on a positive note, can you tell us what you're most excited about when it comes to AI and the application of it?
I'm really excited about the process of society understanding the potential of technological innovation and being good at identifying and mitigating the negative externalities. So I'm really excited about my job, about what it is to be shaping the future of technological innovation. I'm also excited at the possibilities. So I see a future where we have managed to kind of master AI and use it for what it's good at and not use it for the things that we should not be using it for. I'm also really excited about the new transparency that comes with AI. As an auditor, I always say I can audit an AI system, but I cannot audit a discriminatory person. So if we put all of our decisions into code will always be transparent. We will always be able to audit code. So I think that if we incorporate AI in more and more spaces around us, that's going to also open doors for a new transparency and an ability by society to inspect how decisions are made. So there's a lot of good things coming with AI. It's just unfortunate that due to lack of regulation and lack of incentives, it's taking the industry so long to do things well. But it's just a matter of time.
Gemma, thank you very much for sharing your insights with us on AI on The Big Question. It's been fascinating to talk to you and to certainly learn all about the pitfalls as well as what there is to look forward to with AI. So thank you very much.
Thank you.